Welcome back to Tea and Conversations. My name is Karen, and if you are returning, thank you. I appreciate you coming back. I know it has been quite a few weeks since my last video. If you're new, welcome, and I hope you will return. If you are new, you may or may not have seen my previous videos. There's a few of them, and I talk more about what my vision for this channel is. So go check that out and you'll be able to understand more about what I'm trying to do here. If you have not seen a copy of my book yet, it is on Amazon. It is called You Are Not Alone. It is my healing journey from healing from childhood abuse, and I walk you through the abuse, the damage it caused, and the healing journey that I have been on. So I hope that you'll take some time and go to Amazon and search for the title and my name, and it'll pop right up for you. I also have a website. I will pop up an image and you can see the website and the name. You can go there as well, and there's a link directly to Amazon to buy the book, so you can do that as well. All right, so as you can see, it is just me today. I had explained in earlier videos that I wanted to have conversations. Like, I wanted this channel to be an example of conversations that you can have about tough topics. Sadly, those have not come to fruition yet. I'm still talking with people. It seems that schedules are still an issue, trying to coordinate that. And so here we are. In the meantime, my head is just swirling with ideas and with topics that I just really want to start talking about, especially now that the book is out, it's been published, and I just feel like there's probably more to be said. I feel like there's a whole lot more to be said. And so that's why I want to do this. Probably will do more videos like this and start talking about topics. So like I said, I published my book last March. You're gonna see me look down over here because I have notes. So I want to make sure that I cover the topic today the way I want to cover it, so that we can have more conversation. All right? And that's my hope, is that my discussing these topics will spur on more conversation with yourself and maybe those around you. And yeah, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. So anyway, a lot has been going on in response to my book, as well as in the news. I'm not going to go into much about what's been going on in the news in this video, because as I was typing out the notes in response to my book, it got kind of lengthy. So I'm going to do that in the next video, talk more about what's been coming out in the news. All right? For this one, my topic today is discussing responses to an abuse victim. Many, for the first time, read about my abuse when they read my book. Several of these people have known me for decades, but they never knew what my childhood home was really like. Most responded really well to me. And what I mean by that specifically is, first, they would say things like, I am so sorry that you went through that. And that's like a perfect first response to any victim. So this is kind of what I want to do here, is I want to go through this, and I want to help anyone who's not been through abuse understand what it feels like and what is beneficial to responding to a victim of abuse. No matter how many years have passed since the abuse, your response is crucial. It is absolutely crucial. And we can't help the way that feels to us. I wish there was a way for us as victims to be able to, and maybe this is the way we do it, to help others understand what it's been like trying to live through life having been sexually abused as a child. I think there are so many people still trying to wrap their brains around it. They're trying to wrap their brains around why people perpetrate, why adults perpetrate on children, and then why victims respond the way that they do. And in fact, that second part is where I really see a lack of empathy. And especially when you're an adult facing what happened to you as a child and the responses of those around you who are now adults, your adult friends, and they just don't understand how to respond. So this is why I want to do this. This is why I feel like this will help. Maybe. I don't know. But we got to start somewhere, I feel. So anyway, back to some good responses, apologizing for what happened to me. They were very sorry about what happened, and that is very helpful, very helpful. Another one they'll say is they wish they had known back then what had happened, as well as known what to do about it if they were to have known what happened. And that's a tough one because I can't tell you what they could have done. I mean, I was 10 years old. I don't know. I really don't know. As a 10-year-old, I wouldn't have known, I guess is what I'm saying, what to tell them as far as what will help me. But I often wonder what would it have been like if I had one or two other adults that I felt I could trust and tell them what my father was doing. And some of the other abuses my parents both were perpetrating on us kids. I wonder what would have happened and what the outcome would have been and how differently the relationships between my siblings and I would look today had we all gotten the help that we needed back then. The third way that they respond really well is they support me in telling my story, telling the damage that it caused, and then talking and writing about my healing journey. All of it. They support that. And that's huge. That's just huge. And I'm about to tell you why. So, tea. Well, confession, this isn't really tea. It's too hot for tea. This is water. But it's in a teacup. So, it's hot. It's 84. It's not super hot. It's not humid, but it's hot enough anyway. All right, so why that last point was super important is because I have had others who have not responded well. And I'm very, very disappointed to report that some of the worst responses have come from those who confess to believe in Jesus and claim to be Christians. And this really, really saddens my heart and burdens my heart, honestly. We're supposed to be, as Christians, we're supposed to be an example of Christ's love, of his grace, of his mercy, of his empathy, all of it. We're supposed to encompass that in response to others who are around us. And I'm just being honest, when it comes to responding to abuse, it is rare. It is rare that I see someone responding without judgment. So, let me tell you about some of the ways I've been responded to. First, they'll tell me my book does, quote unquote, does not bring glory to God. Now let me try and explain that. I'm surmising what they mean because they never really explain it. This is another thing that people like this are really good at. They'll use these, what I like to call Christianese terms. So they use these terms to sound spiritual, but when you break the terms down, they don't mean a whole lot. And what they do mean, it's not good. So I've been raised in church. I've heard these terms before millions of times. What I believe they mean when they say it doesn't bring glory to God is that God would not approve of my telling who my abusers are and what they did. So take that for whatever you will. They also do not agree with my seeking out and participating in counseling because, quote unquote, this is what they said, all we need is the Bible and Jesus. Now, I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I have no problem. And if you read my book, you'll see, you'll hear, I believe in God and He is a part of my healing process. But as a victim, I had to process that. I had to understand what that means. How abuse impacts a person, a child, in such dramatic and huge ways. And if they can't find a space to process everything in life and how that affects it, they're going to be a mess. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing many people who have not found a safe space, safe people, a safe environment to process what happened to them. And it's a mess. So I can't agree with that statement. I cannot. Some of these people have done things like unfriended me. If you're on Facebook, you know what that means. They've unfriended me on Facebook. They blocked me on Facebook after I've written my book and they realize what it's about. And others have had some conversation with me directly, judging me because I do not interact with my parents currently. They feel that I have not truly forgiven them. Otherwise, why wouldn't I be interacting with them if I've forgiven them? And in my book, I again go through what I believe forgiveness looks like. I am very comfortable with the research I've done, the studying I've done with the Bible and with my experience and talking with others that I have forgiven my father. Forgiveness is not to do with the relationship. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the relationship between my father and I. Forgiveness has everything to do with my relationship with God. Period. Period, period, period. It is about where my heart is with God. Restoration has to do with my relationship with my parents, both my father and my mother. Restoration. And restoration does not only fall on my shoulders. It falls on their shoulders as well. It's both working towards a healthy relationship. And when one cannot or does not take the steps they need to take to healthy restoration, the relationship cannot be restored. Period. I don't know why that's hard for people to understand. I've tried to explain it in my book. I think I just even worded it probably even better than I've ever worded it before just to you right now, but they can't wrap their brains around it. And these are pastors, former pastors, retired pastors. So it's, again, I just feel like I have to keep talking about it because clearly it's not being talked about enough. And those who are underneath these pastors and are listening to these teachings are not raising questions and having conversation, initiating conversation to really flesh out this principle and what it should look like in real life. I don't feel. So that's why, again, we're having conversation. I am in the process of writing a second book that deals with all of this. And this is another reason why I need to kind of talk about this and get these videos going, because I can write things in the book. I'm just not sure how they come across. And so I kind of need some feedback. And that way I'll gain more direction about where to go with the book. But it's surrounding these poor responses and how to change them, as well as types of organizations that are continuing to perpetrate emotional abuse because of how they handle perpetrators and victims. So like I was just talking, even that principle of forgiveness and restoration, you know, even just talking about that in context of abuse it's so needed. It's so needed, and it's important to flesh it out. and to listen. You need to listen to those of us who have been through it. You may not agree with where we come down. You may not agree with, you know, in the moment what our ideas are, but we're all learning, and we all should continue to be in a place of learning and understanding and growing in understanding, right? And so here we are again. That's the purpose for this. I want to have conversation. So if I had somebody sitting here with me, this is what we would do. I'd bring up these types of scenarios and these topics and say, okay, what do you think about this? And that's where I think we learn the most, is we talk about these hard things, but it can be so rewarding. And at least that's what I've been finding in my relationships. And that's why I wanted to do it this way, because I think that there are more people who will find the same thing if they just know how to have the conversations, what topics we need to be talking about, and just talk about them. And I think that's how we kind of change this whole stereotype, this whole mindset around abuse. There's a lot going on right now. There are people who are working towards trying to make abuse of children normal. They're trying to normalize it. And then this is another reason why I feel like I need to speak out and I need to make these videos. We need to talk more about the damage that it does, what specifically it does to a child, and how it damages them, and the work that it takes as an adult to heal from it. And we have to do that, because otherwise it's going to continue. All of this needs to be brought into the light, because it thrives in the dark. So if we're not talking about it, it stays in the dark and it continues to thrive, it continues to grow. So I hope you'll come alongside me. I hope that you'll join me, because I can't stay quiet anymore. I just can't. I've got to start talking about things. And if this makes you uncomfortable, you don't feel like you can listen to this, I understand. I am disappointed, but I understand, and you can move along, because this is what it's going to be like. I'm going to continue to talk. So I hope you come back, and I hope that you'll think about what I've said. All right? So I will hopefully get up another video soon discussing more about the news, what's coming out, how they're trying to normalize things, the hiding that's going on, and why this whole issue thrives still after so many generations. Okay? So until next time, take care. Hey, it's me again. I mentioned having conversation on the video, so I wanted to make sure that I come back and tell you what I mean, because obviously this is a one-way street right now. So what I'd love for you to do is to like and subscribe and comment on this video. And if you're not comfortable with a public comment, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead to my website. I'm going to link it in the description, and fill out the contact form, because that will send me a private email. And so that'll just be between you and I, and then you can let me know if anything you say I might be able to use in a future video, and if you prefer not, that's fine too. We can handle it however, is best for everyone involved. Okay? So don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, or send me an email through the contact form on my website, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.